Finally, this is the last video lecture of this course. On behalf of the teaching staffs, I thank you all for having followed us for last 6 weeks. So this is the last lecture, and it's about the color you like or you hate. Let me ask female listeners, is your favorite color something like pink or purple or similar to that? It's obvious that purple hue is beloved by the majority of female consumers. When purple is brighter, it appears to be in pink. So this particular tendency includes purple, pink, violet, and magenta as well. But what's interesting here is that the purple lover is quite persistent in loving purple. This means that once she likes this color, she is quite addicted to this hue, almost regardless of the category of products. As a strong evidence, let me show you this example. Before this model was launched on the market, experts were quite skeptical about the success of a pink car. It was hard to believe that the purple lovers were so loyal to the color. For example, many of you would answer blue as your favorite color, but it's not applied to the color of your car, right? But in case of purple-loving females, the preference was quite addictive. So it was a big success to introduce a pink car, focusing or targeting particularly the pink-loving female consumers. Nowadays, we always have the right to select a color. Perhaps for you it's difficult to imagine, but people didn't have any color choice but black when the Henry Ford T model was first introduced in 1917. There was no such thing like a color choice. As the automobile industry became much more affluent, then the automobile producers started to offer some color alternatives. Psychologists say that the likelihood of purchasing a product increases when various color choices are offered. But ironically, the effect stops and even decreases when the choice exceeds a certain number, because simply there are so many colors to decide for one. There are a couple of factors that influence the color preference. Although you have a particular favorite color, it actually differs depending on the reference object. For example, you like blue, but you don't buy a blue car. So the previous example of a purple-loving female is obvious an exception. Secondly, your bodily state, particularly your vision system, strongly affects or directly affects your preference. The babies younger than 6 months old have difficulty to distinguish the tonal differences. Physiologically, they can more easily pay attention to the primary colors. This is applied to the elderly people as well. Also, the cultural connotation and or individual reflection influences one's color preference as well. Here in South Korea, we have a special love for white. In a recent market survey in South Korea, it was found out that white is dominantly selected by the consumers across different categories, including automobiles or cars and cell phones. In the background, you are presented with the cell phone cases colored slightly different from each other. They are all white but slightly different. My research team conducted a user survey to quantify how the different nuances result different visual characteristics. So where is this love for white coming from? I'm not sure yet. But at least I'm sure of this case. You can find green in flags of Islam countries. The green is considered as a holy color since green symbolizes the oasis. Some colors are considered as taboo. At a glance, a colorful celebration, but knowing the cultural connotation, some may have a different opinion. Because color is such a powerful tool to deliver emotional message, a great effort has been made to identify the affective quality of a color. A number of studies have been conducted and still going on. The studies can be categorized into two main streams. One is matching categories. So matching category of a color with category of emotion. Red to anger, yellow to happy, and so on. The other approach is to link the attributes of both substances. We know that a color consists of three attributes, such as hue, brightness, and vividness. Depending on the type of color order system, the unit or the labeling for each attribute may differ. But basically, three color attributes are indicating hue, brightness, and vividness. The human emotion also has three attributes. They are typically pleasure, arousal, and dominance. Each indicates how happy it is, how exciting it is, how dominant it is. One color is profiled in terms of hue, brightness, vividness. One emotion can be defined in terms of pleasure, arousal, and dominance. Therefore, the quantitative analysis are possible. For example, we found that there is a positive correlation between pleasure and vividness. A positive correlation means that both pleasure and vividness are increasing or decreasing together. Therefore, when the vividness of a color increases, the pleasant feeling is also increasing. In such a way, more computational analysis are possible. I'd like to close my lecture with this color image scale. In 1980, Dr. Kobayashi, a physicist, proposed a database called color image scale. In this color image scale, single colors or color combinations are positioned depending on its stylish characteristics. Here you are presented with some examples of a color combination. Each color combination consists of three single colors, and each has its own styling label. The color samples are positioned in a two-dimensional space that is profiled in terms of warm, cool, soft, and hard. Since Kobayashi's initiation, a number of color samples have been proposed so far based on either quantitative psychological examination or simply based on experts' opinion. For a creative color design, your own personal color preference must be important. But if you create the work for other people, I highly recommend you to compare your own thinking or your own preference with the larger database. So that's it. I thank you again for your attention and wish you all my best.